Hello everyone and welcome to John Drinks, the channel in which I, John, have a drink. And today we're going to be carrying on our jaunt through the Johnnie Walker core range with the Johnnie Walker Gold Label Reserve, which is a bit of a mouthful. If you didn't catch the last episode where I compared two different generations of Johnnie Walker Green Label, there'll be a card that corner. Still can't get this right. So today we're going to look at this, and it's a bit of a weird blend because I can't quite figure out why it exists. We're going to go into the history of the whiskey, why it's on the market at the minute and kind of how it came to be, and we're going to try it and kind of see what it tastes like. If at any point you feel like you're enjoying this video, then thumb it and subscribe to the channel and send me an e-blowjob or whatever. That's all the begging out of the way, so that's gotten that gone. Johnnie Walker Gold Label. So it was originally an 18-year-old whiskey, and then they replaced the 18-year-old whiskey with the Platinum Label. But then the Platinum Label became the 18-year-old. So now this just kind of exists. There's no age statement on it, and your normal stuff, it's coloured, it's chill filtered, it's 40%. It's your standard Johnnie Walker blend. And I had a look online, and it's, again, just sort of marketing twaddle talking about it being vanilla-y and lovely, basically. So I'm going to assume, again, despite the fact that it's called the Gold Label, and it's kind of marketed as a more premium blend, still relatively approachable and easy and smooth. So we're going to pop this in a glass. Oh, the lid got caught in the cardigan. That's a handy. You can probably tell as well this cardigan is covered in cat hairs. I would feel more self-conscious about that were it not for the fact that I watched a live stream the other night where a man was literally sickle down himself and into his beer glass, which was thoroughly attractive, let me tell you. So I don't know about the man in question, but it's done wonders for my self-esteem, let me tell you. So that's the Gold Reserve in the glass there, and you've probably noticed actually I'm using a different glass today. It's good to change it up every now and then. Normally I use a Glencairn, but this is more of it's a baby brandy snifter kind of a glass. Is it going to make much of a difference to the liquid? Mebs. This isn't a glass review thing. I'm just going to talk about what I'm getting out of this. I could put it in a tumbler if I wanted to. I could put it in a pint glass if I was a total bastard, but I'm not going to. So I don't really have much of an inkling for how long I should give this to breathe, because as I said, this used to be an 18-year-old, it's not anymore, so we can, well, there might still be some 18-year-old whiskey in there. We can deduce that more of it is younger rather than what used to be in there. So it's a bit of a shame really, isn't it? But there seems to be a through flow with all the Johnnie Walkers so far, and that consistency is that they've all kind of gone a bit downhill because they sell so well. Who gives a fuck? That's capitalism in action there, lads. If you're enjoying my rant so far, make sure to thumb the video, because that shows the capitalists who's boss. I don't fucking know, it does something. But anyway, so I've given that literally a minute. I'm just going to nose it and kind of see what I find. I'd imagine with most Johnnie Walkers, to be fair, most people are just kind of going to dive straight in. They're not going to, you know, be too precious about it. So maybe I'm going a bit overboard with, you know, giving 12 minutes for the black label and stuff like that, but I want to try, you know? I want to at least give them a shot. It's very custardy. It's kind of like a... I don't know if this is just the glass playing games with me, but there's something a bit brandyish about it. Yeah, kind of like a cognac kind of a smell to that. I kind of wish I put this in a Glencairn now, because it's definitely the nose that I'm getting, but a lot of people are just going to be watching this and it's like, oh, is he just saying that because he thinks he's drinking brandy because of the glass? And mind games, they're weird. But yeah, quite custardy, fair bit of like red fruit in there as well, like red currants, blackberries, quite tart. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to try it neat and then I'm going to try it with a bit of water. That's pretty easy drinking, gotta say. It's something quite Klein Leashy about it. It's like super vanilla-y. Super vanilla-y, bit of oak in there. A little bit like blackcurrant, kind of like a Ribena-y sort of a twang on the finish. A little bit like sourdough as well. It's got kind of like sour yeasty twang towards the end. It's quite thick, chewy on the palate. It's kind of like a dark chocolate thing on the finish as well. The mid palate's kind of stayed the same on the second sip. It's vanilla, oak, quite easy, approachable flavours. Tell you what, it's not unpleasant. Again, there is a bit of an excessive alcohol burn on this, as we've been finding with a lot of the Johnnie Walkers. There's something just a little bit off kilter with them. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I would imagine that the older components of this are probably the grain whiskey, because again, we're talking about a blended whiskey as opposed to a blended malt, which we've been dealing with the last couple of weeks. But yeah, there is just still like an excessive warmth, which again is weird. When you get like quite an aggressive warmth with the whiskey, there's a couple of things that it can be. We talked about it with the Amberek, where you had bottle shock. That was actually one of the comments that I got on that video, people talking about kind of like a similar phenomenon with wines when they get bottled, something called bottle shock, and it takes the spirit or whatever's in the bottle a little bit of time to recover. Same thing with spirits, and you've got a similar thing here where it's quite just sort of harsh and aggressive. I've also had spirits where I've drank them without thinking about giving them time, and they are bloody easy to drink. There's going to be a review coming in, I hope, a couple of weeks of Bladnoch. That was an example where I didn't give it 10 minutes, I gave it like 2 minutes, and it went down like silk, and it's got an extra 7% on this stuff. So it's not just about the ABV. It can be a contributing factor, but it's not just about the ABV. So, some water in there, giving it a moment to get to know itself. Kind of getting custard if it went sour. Or you tried making custard with sour cream. You should never do that, that would be terrible, but that's kind of the melding I'm getting at the minute. It's something a little bit unusual, some bit off notes in there. A little bit walnutty. The fruit components have gone, it's more just kind of like vanilla, nuts. It's a little bit like rusty in there as well, something a little metallic. The nose has gotten worse. I'm going to say that, the nose has gotten worse. But what's the flavour like? That burn is still there, and it's really off-putting. It's really unsettling. But before you get to that, it's caramel, butterscotch, vanilla, easygoing, easy drinking flavours. The complexity to this, there isn't really any. It's nice, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly drinkable, it's perfectly nice, but I feel like as we're moving up, and particularly with the price that some of these bottles are demanding, we in return should be demanding more from the whiskey, and it's not delivering it. And it's feeling more at this stage that we're getting played a little bit. We've still got 2 expressions after this to talk about, so maybe it will recover. I'm not expecting good things, but maybe it will recover. But yeah, the Gold Reserve, it's vanilla-y and easy. I don't think that it's been engineered particularly well. Again, there's like a harshness to it, which can be down to a lot of things. At the end of the day, I'm not a master blender, but I mean, I've seen it in blends in the past where there's like a harsh component that just kind of, it knocks the whole whiskey off kilter a little bit. The opening palate is very appealing. Got like tobacco notes in there as well, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of dry spice, caramel, vanilla, custard, egg custard, like pastry notes as well in there as well, something a little bit saccharine and extra sweet. And the burn, you do start getting used to it a little bit, but there's still undeniably a burn there, which, I don't know, shouldn't really be there in a well-engineered whiskey. So I'll just put that out there. It's perfectly good, it's perfectly nice. For the price that you pay for this though, I just happen to know that there are other whiskies out there that do what this is trying to do better. Would I get in again? Probably not. But hey, there we go. How many gold bars out of 5 would I give this? Give it a 3. If you're after something that's specifically vanilla-y and easy to drink, but you still want to feel like a man who's drinking whiskey because you associate whiskey with a burn and that's what puts hairs on your nipples or whatever the fucking phrase is, yeah, this whiskey is absolutely made for you. It's the Rolex watch of, well, it's not the Rolex watch, it's more kind of, well, of a swatch really in this particular example, but yeah, it's fine, and if you have a particular case point for it, yeah, totally. Would it make a good gift? The bottle certainly does. The packaging's lovely. As with a lot of the Johnnie Walkers, you know, the presentation is spot on. It's the liquid that we're worried about. And the liquid is a little bit substandard for what they're saying it is. You've got to remember as well with blends, be it a single malt or be it a blended whiskey such as this one, they are ultimately presenting an engineered product to you. You know, they are putting something together and saying, this is what we're happy putting in front of you, or this is what we're happy selling to you. I just think they could have smoothed it out a little better. And I don't mean that in terms of like, oh, you know, so you can't taste any alcohol in it at all. That's not what I'm talking about. But there is just like an imbalance to the whole blend, which is a little bit difficult to pinpoint. But it does have something to do with the fact that it opens up and gets harsher as it opens, which, I don't know, it just feels like they missed something somewhere. And I'm maybe not putting that into words very well, but it's what I'm getting from it. That was the gold label. We've got 2 more of these whiskies still to go. Next week will be the turn of the 18-year-old, previously known as the Platinum, and then the grand finale will be the blue label, which is exciting, so stick around for that. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. I want to say a thank you again to all my patrons for helping to support the channel. If you want to join them, I'm currently running a poll to talk about what is the next category that I should do for the channel, because there's a few things that I've not covered in the past. Tequila, ports, mezcal. I've not done mezcal yet, no. Poitin, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, like Irish moonshine, things like of that nature. So there are some votes in so far. If you want to have your say, there is the £5 tier where you can partake in all of the polls and other behind the scenes stuff, and you get to kind of find out what's going on before everybody else. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and do join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.